Good evening, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Welcome to the I Want to Believe It's Not an Orbit Dust show with myself, Peter N, the lovely Cathy, and the lovely Trevor, too.
The lovely Trevor. The lovely Peter.
The lovely. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. And if you like the show and you like the contents, please subscribe to the channel and click on those notification bars. So, how is your week been, Trevor?
Oh, it's been pretty good. Really busy. So I've been gone the last couple of weeks as my job takes me out every couple weekends, and so I'm back for the next little while. Just actually getting over a little bit of stomach crud seems to be going around, and but just glad to be back here, seeing you guys. So this is great.
Fantastic. It is the season. You know what? The kids are going back to school soon as well, so no doubt that those stomach bugs and stuff like that's definitely going to pick up in my household as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So, how you been, Cathy?
I am doing actually really good. I'm just saying hello to our viewers here. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Tinka. Hello, Lynda. I know I missed one. Tamara. Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in. I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, doing really good. Happy you guys are here. We missed you last week. Well, Trevor, I guess it's been the last couple of weeks, but we're definitely happy to have you guys back. So it's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's like I said. Yeah, it's this is one of my favorite days out of the week. Just being able to be here with you guys and talking about this stuff, and yeah. Definitely the highlight of my day for sure.
We are missing our beautiful Lynda this week. She is really sick. I guess she's not doing so well. So everybody, send her get well, better vibes for sure, because we miss her as well. We can't wait to have her back next week.
Yes, and I hope it's not COVID. I hope it's not.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying on the thread. So it's not me. That's not me wishing it upon her or anything like that. But anyway. So my week has been up and down. We've got a couple more investigations coming our way. A couple of nice, interesting public buildings as well, which are one of them is quite a famous landmark in BC actually that's just recently come forward for our group as well. So we have that to look forward to. We'll probably start that in the new year. We're just trying to space investigations out for the near future. And then we're getting set for Barkerville, which we're heading off on Friday of this week. 11 of us going up there. 11 people confirmed. There was a bit of a mishap with accommodation, but we managed to flip that over. So we're looking forward to that. So we'll have two days investigating Barkerville, so we're really looking forward to that as well. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a long couple of days. It's like 126 cabins, an old law court, and all kind of courts, all kind of things as well. So kind of crazy.
Yeah, sounds logistically horrible.
It is. It's funny about the place. It's one of the kind of tailbone historical sites of BC, or probably Western Canada, where it's kind of like each cabin has its own little story. Not so much paranormal activity, which probably may be, but it has. It's kind of like a little soap opera on the whole site, where different things happen and different like historical things happen in relation to Canada as well. It's a really interesting place, and it's beautiful as well. Very well preserved, especially for Canada.
Now, do you two find that you guys get really busy in October? Do you start doing more stuff with your groups in October at all?
October here, I know during the summer, like we only get, I'm sure it's probably this. Well, maybe it's not for the same for you. I'm not sure, but we only get like 2 months of nice weather, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody's trying to get that time in as much as they possibly can, especially in Alberta. Because the rest of the 10 months out of the year is like snow and miserable and nobody wants to leave their house. So that's actually a good time, October, for investigations. For, me personally, it's readings, like especially going into the new year, all of that stuff. It seems to really start to pick up. So.
Yeah. Now I don't know a lot about Canadian holidays and things like that. I mean, do you have Halloween in Canada?
We do. Yeah. We have Halloween.
So yeah, and so that's just us as well. It's like all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, it's Halloween. So
I think a lot of it too is people start watching all of the scary movies, right? And they start freaking themselves out, and that's usually the time that a lot of the horror movies enter into the theaters, is coming into October. And so everybody scared themselves into a little tizzy. And the first thing they're doing is calling the paranormal investigators, right? Especially if it's not a thriller, but more of the actual paranormal movies. Like when Paranormal Activity came out, Jesus, like you would think the entire movie was covered in demons, right?
Demons everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny in BC. Well, when I was a part of Vancouver Paranormal Society, it was always after Halloween where things just started ramping up, and we had a lot of cases where like we had to go in and kind of educate kids as well, because they stayed over their friend's house and they watched that movie, and it just really freaked them out. And we had a few of them as well where you kind of go in there and you explain to them that everything's not paranormal because they've just seen their very first horror movie and stuff like that. And it's an interesting time of year. I don't get it so much now because I kind of I'm very selective with the investigations I do. But it became it was like at that point after the end of October, it just went freaking nuts all the way through to probably about March, April of the following year kind of thing. But happy times, that's for sure. Happy times.
Yeah. I noticed that there is different times where all of a sudden and it can't just be like honestly, it would be nice sometimes, I guess, to receive that call or that investigation where it was like Aunt Betty, I think my grandma's here, I think my mom's here, I think my dad's here, I think Aunt Betty's here, but no, it always has to be some freaking hell demon or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, all right then, sure.
Yes.
Always. It can never just be something normal. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, this week's show, we decided to change it up yet again. We're just trying little things here and there just to see how the audience reacts and see whether you guys like a variation of what we do. So this week, both Trevor and myself are going to go through some various pieces of evidence that we've gathered over the last few years. We're going to share it with you guys and share the background and share the history. And just feel free, please, if you have any comments, any reactions, please, obviously share it with us as well. Any questions in relation to the pictures as well. We'll be happy to answer those questions as well. So I'm going to start off because I'm very selfish. I'll start off with the very first one. So all of my evidence are that I'm going to be showing everyone tonight is pictures. So they're very self-explanatory in relation to the pictures that I've caught and the evidence, and I'm going to give a kind of a storyline to each one as well. The first, sorry, I've lost the picture on one of my. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I'll jump to. Sorry, I apologise. Technical error there. So the first picture, which wasn't, it was going to actually be my second one until I figure the next one out. Part of my previous team, Vancouver Paranormal Society, we had a regular ongoing investigation with a school down the Lower Mainland, and obviously it wasn't a residential school, obviously, because we've got that kind of stigma in Canada with residential schools and what happened in Kamloops, my own hometown and stuff like that. So just to be clear with the audience, it's not a First Nations residential school or anything like that. It was actually a child daycare nursery that actually called us out, and they experienced a number of paranormal experiences there, and we were going there on and off probably about 4 or 5 years until we went on to do new projects. Anyway, types of things that happened in this one area, which I'm going to show you a picture of that we captured. That we had Lego blocks thrown at us at different times, which is very remarkable. And it was one of the only few times I and my team actually witnessed that there was physical movement during an investigation, which is kind of cool. We heard voices as well. None of the evidence we ever got from that place were related to children because of the nature of the site and what it was before. It had more to do with what was there previously, so there was no kind of young kids trauma or anything like that, which obviously things like that I kind of turn my nose up to, and I don't really want to get involved with things like that, having been a father myself and that kind of thing. So this picture I'm going to share with you guys now was taken on my motion camera. It's my full spectrum infrared camera that was set on motion. We were actually in the other part of the nursery at the time, and my camera was actually clicking off while we were next door. We were actually having a meeting, and I actually caught this image there. So if you look on the obviously left-hand side, and it kind of resembles some kind of manifestation, like a cloud per se. The light that is directly below it is one of my infrared lights, and if you look on the right hand side of the camera, there's actually a red dot. That is like I have a sensor, laser and receiver. So whenever that laser and receiver gets penetrated, it sends a signal to my camera, which then sets the camera off. This particular time, we was in the upper room where all the light was on. In there, we was actually having an AGM with the society at the time, and it was just clicking. It was clicking and clicking and clicking. Usually, when it does that, is when the batteries are actually running out in the camera. And I didn't think I caught anything. And this was one of the images that I caught, which to me was quite compelling for me because obviously it doesn't resemble anyone or anything like that was in that area at that time. So yeah, that was the first piece for me.
That's pretty crazy, actually. Yeah.
It's interesting because I've only seen what I'd consider a mist like one time, and it surprised me because I've seen pictures of it, but I'm kind of cynical. I mean, I don't really understand the manifestation of a mist as a potential human spirit or how that even works. You have any theories to that, Pete?
It would correlate a lot to a male presence that was known in that area. And again, I'm going to be careful with my words, but it was more to do with the site and what was there previously. And there was a lot of, it could very well be a woman. There was a lot of evidence we got that came through of a male presence on that site, which correlate to the history of what was there before. But there's no weight in that whatsoever because obviously we don't know. Like, there's no clear definition whatsoever, and obviously Melissa could be right as well. It could very well be a woman. I will add one thing though: the camera that I use to take that picture, it has a crystal lens rather than a glass lens, so it doesn't have the ability to take pictures of orbs, because orbs is when you take a picture of an orb, it has it reflects off the camera lens of that glass lens. This particular camera lens has a crystal lens and it doesn't reflect light. So if there's any skeptics that think that this could be kind of a reflection of the lens, a manipulation of light, it's not, because of the way that the camera's been customed.
Well, I think if you had a stationary camera and stationary lights, and if it was a light flare, you would get that light flare repeatedly in the same location, So if it's one, then not the others, it's obviously not a light flare.
It does, and I'll be honest with you, Trevor. I've used video cameras over the years. The problem I've had with when I've captured something on a video camera, it's trying to when you see something move on a video camera, it's trying to replay that again and go through the same motions again, because the lights and the the lights that could be on in the room, the lights that could be shining off a camera could be shining in a different direction. But with a camera, when you've got a controlled environment such as this, I can reenact that and sit and try and replicate what that was naturally. But obviously at that time we knew that there was no one in that proximity. Everyone was in that other room, and there was no other factors that could possibly have caused that. I mean, at the back of it you can see that there's a shadow being cast as well. We've had lots of people come forward, and same as Melissa as well. I believe it's a woman. Majority think it's a woman as well. It wouldn't correlate to the EVPs we got from that actual place, but again, it's something for me, because that's something for me that's very compelling in relation to that investigation.
That's a great picture.
Yeah. Missed manifestation. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm just a question. So with that, with the because this was taken by a motion sensor, right? Like it was motion sensor. But a normal orb wouldn't set it off anyway.
It wouldn't, but there, to be honest with you, with that laser receiver, that little box you see on the right hand side with the red dot, when they're very fickle, so once the batteries start to go, they just repeatedly go off. And they're not very reliable in relation to that. You have to keep changing the batteries over like every 4 to 5 hours just to keep it kicking over. But that's one of the things that could have potentially set it off, the batteries. And then if you flip the coin over, and the other person could say, well, that could very well be an orb, and I've already discounted that in relation to the way my camera's been built, kind of thing.
I'm curious, did you have any other equipment aside from the camera? Were you using a data logger or anything like that?
I was using, at that particular time in that area, the only thing that we had was voice recorders. But it was kind of redundant because we were in the next room having a AGM. That's all we had in that. It's quite a big area to cover.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, I'm not top heavy on equipment anymore, because I don't honestly believe in overloading technology and stuff like that. But I think that what I captured there was very sufficient.
Absolutely.
There was nothing else. Obviously, there was no, there was no temperature reading changes or anything like that, or there was nothing recorded in that respect.
That's kind of what I was curious, if there was a temperature fluctuation, EMF fluctuation, or something that accompanied that. That'd be pretty interesting to know.
Yeah, but there we go. So that's the first one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And now I'm expected to compete with that. I mean,
I know. Well, that's just that one's just a little teaser. I'm trying to get the other one up as well. But Kathy, would you like to go through the next one with Trevor while I find this other image?
Yeah, absolutely. So this one here.
Which one is it?
Well, I'm looking. This is the full spectrum figure.
Okay, so we're gonna compare pictures then, Pete. So this is our still photo. This is the only one that I'm presenting today. So what you're looking at this is at the Nampa train depot. This was taken during our public investigation that we just did. The camera is sitting on top of a glass case, and if you look down the hallway, right in the middle, you'll see it looks like the figure of a person standing there.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a very large figure as well.
A white blob. That was the only picture that was in. It wasn't there, and then it was there, and then it was gone. So we thought that was pretty interesting. Now, interestingly enough, I'll have another video of this same area of a shadow that's moving across that hallway on a different investigation night. So it's interesting. We've been catching a lot of activity in this little hallway.
So when I first uploaded this earlier this afternoon, I actually thought that was a member of your team because I saw the figure right away,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I don't know." My head was sort of all over the place this afternoon, so I wasn't really like, I was just more or less uploading, and I'm like, "Oh, what's he talking about here? There's just a picture of somebody from his team." That literally was my thought, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, no." Kathy, get your head together. That's actually what we're looking at in the in the picture. I was like,
the only person that was up there, I think, was the person that was taking the pictures. So, and we didn't have anybody in the other room or in the hallway. She actually took several. There is some others that are going to be uploaded on our website that actually have two smaller figures in that same hallway that appeared a few shots before this larger one does. So it was pretty interesting.
So is there any background to this or any history with that?
Well, all we know is that, it was the central hub for Nampa, Idaho, back in the 1800s. There were a few deaths. It was a train yard. It was a train, depot. There were a couple deaths there, but honestly, there wasn't a lot of reports of hauntings there. Right. It was a request to investigate by the Canyon County Historical Society. They wanted to do some events, try to promote them as some fundraisers for them. By the way, if you all have local historical societies, please support them. They are great people and they're trying to do good things and preserve our history. So our first two investigations were just kind of experiments to see if we could catch anything. And we have been very successful so far in catching some evidence, and much to my delighted surprise. So it's been great.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was looking at it and I thought, because when I first, I just want to take a look again. I'm just going to put it back up there really quickly. When I first looked at it, again, I was sort of in a different mind space or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it looks like a person standing there.
100%. But it also almost looks like it doesn't look. I mean, I suppose it could be male with the short sleeves, or to me, it looked like more modern clothing just at first. But
when I'm looking at it doesn't even look like it's solid. What would be nice if I had a comparison picture of one of us standing there later on, so you could see what a solid person looks like there.
The figure looks round, like it looks like Fat Bastard from what
it does. It does.
Right? Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And it was interesting. We didn't have anybody that fit that description even investigating that night. So.
I imagine Pete's put a bit of weight on though, hasn't he, lately? But I don't think he'll fit that picture.
Yeah, but Pete's head would be almost touching the ceiling in there. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's like 16 feet tall, So.
That's awesome. That's good capture as well. That's pretty cool. So my next one is, and Kathy and Russell's joined as well. My friend Russell. This was when we went to Victoria, Kathy, and we went to the museum.
That was such a good investigation. It was so much fun.
So this picture, and Kathy knows this picture as well, and Russell does, that's joined the show as well. This picture was taken at the side of the Maritime Museum in Victoria. Now, this actual part of the picture was actually in Bastion Square, and what they did at the back of the museum, they actually built around Bastion Square, where in that area where they built around it was actually the hanging area where they used to hang people and stuff like that. And if you guys look up Google Haunted Victoria and look up the not definition, but there's a famous sighting around Bastion Square called the Lady in White, which is very original because they're all lady in whites and stuff like that. But it's been documented since like the late 18th century, and allegedly it was the first woman, I might be corrected, that was hung in Bastion Square, and I think it was the first, and I think it was the last, by Judge Begbie. And this particular area, we were there. We got there, and we were setting up the cameras, and this was like about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So the envisionment was I was going to set a camera up in this one room where the camera where this ledge hanging area was, and we shut the door, locked the door, and walked away. Anyway, about an hour later, it was about 5-6 o'clock in the evening. My camera went off, and I didn't know anything about it until we did the review next day or anything like that. And the reason why the image is bright is because of the infrared light, and it's still daylight outside, so it's kind of blurry in that sense. So this was the first capture it caught. So this gives you a kind of a perspective of what the room looks like. You've got there's like a glass cabinet in front of you, and what you have behind that is a window with one of those cast iron section radiators at the back of it. And to the right of the camera was almost dead parallel to where they used to hang criminals, and to the left was the old fire exit, which was sealed up with the door going up. So this caught the first image, and then the second image caught this on the left hand side. Obviously, to me, it looks like a woman in white with black hair. It looks that kind of, I don't know, that horror movie that came out a couple of years ago as well. Yeah, with the hair. Yeah. So
Ring?
Yeah, that's it. The ring. That's the word. So it caught that one, and then we just got the tail end of whatever she was, obviously being transparent as well, being a typical stereotypical ghost walking away. What's interesting about where the direction she was actually walking was that there was actually a wall directly in front of where she was standing. So that to me was an interesting one as well. And Kathy was there on that investigation as well.
Mm-hmm. You know, it was funny because I don't think we really had a lot of things happen while we were actually on the investigation. I can't quite remember because it was a few years ago. Or was there? I mean, I know that we had some like equipment stuff going on and whatever, but it wasn't until, what was it, about a week or so later when we got home and you were like, oh, remember this? And I'm like, no way. And you sent me the picture and I was just floored because really, you know, that's an amazing capture, right? Mm-hmm. But you know, the investigation itself, I don't remember, again, I could be wrong because you know, it was a few years ago, but I don't remember a lot of things happening at the time. Do you?
There was Russell can chirp in as well. There was this area here, obviously where the capture that we caught there. There was the law court as well, where we got an Irish. There was an Irish woman's voice saying, "You watch your effing tongue," and that's when me and Russell were in there as well, and that was loud. Like we heard it as well without even a voice recording and stuff like that. But the rest of the building was interesting because it was more interesting in respect of the historical artifacts in there as well, and it was obviously carrying a lot of energy as well. So it was a great place. I really loved that place.
I just wanted to apologize to our viewers. It looks like I'm watching also on YouTube so that I can, you know, see things. And I noticed that our it doesn't look as clear as it was earlier. And I think that the video quality does go down because of the fact that we are, you know, sharing the picture. So StreamYard itself is probably having issues with the whatever camera stuff. Okay. Yeah. But the pictures seem to be coming through clear. So, you know, hopefully you guys don't mind that we're probably a little bit blurred and maybe some of the comments are a little bit blurred that we put up, but I think that the pictures are coming through really well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting about that as well. That whole picture was it was controlled as well. That door was locked, and it kind of made it more compelling for me. No one stepped in there apart from when I went in there to get my camera and put my camera in there and come out. So,
well, I'm just curious. You know, it's, you know, we think that, you know, it's believed that the rarest type of evidence that we catch as paranormal investigators is in a still photo. And I'm trying to figure out what your secret is, Pete, because you seem to be catching them left and right. So
It's luck, honestly. There's I did a data log for a few years on different like shades, colors and stuff like that, and different types of lenses, that kind of thing. But there's no rhythm to it. I've caught equally the same amount of what I deem as evidence from just normal cameras, just in daylight, than what I have just experimenting with light, simulating with lights, that kind of thing. And it might be a case of being in the right place at the right time, kind of thing. But majority of the captures that I've caught, in fact, 95% of them have been through motion cameras rather than being there at the time.
Yeah,
which adds to the fun.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And we talk about, utilizing that technology. Technology is continuously improving. And I had this conversation today with my R&D director, my tech, and about, he was asking like, well, which clips are we sending? How many do they want? And I told him we could send them as many as they want, because we've been catching some really great stuff, and we attribute that to just having keeping up with technology, using state-of-the-art voice recorders and things like that. It helps out a ton. So kudos to you on those great catches.
It's not really gadgets though, Trev. It's just like the stuff that I've adapted to more recently have been stuff you can buy from camera stores, that kind of thing. Like from my laser receiver, it's something you can buy online. It's not from ghost hunting store.xyz, and pay a markup of about 150% because it says ghost hunter on the side of it. It's just stuff on it, and I am drifting more just to keep it basic because it's easier to explain in relation to what the evidence and stuff like that. So, which is interesting. So next one will be for you, Trevor. So
excited. What's it going to be?
It's the Trevor 14 Light.
The light?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is back in the Nampa train depot again. This was the first, might have been the second investigation that we did. So this is a video clip. You can go ahead and roll it. It should be fairly self-explanatory when you see it.
Hang on. Sorry, I'll just got rid of that. Sorry, Russ. I do remember.
I will tell you that to set it up, at this point in time, the building is empty. It is pretty late at night. We were out in another part. I think we might have been out in the caboose investigating out there. So you're going to be looking towards the left-hand area. There it is.
Oh, let's keep taking it back.
Yeah, you want to run that a couple times so people can see it. It's pretty quick. I don't know if you can loop that or not. So we tried to recreate this. Now, understand, so that hallway right there is the same hallway that we took the picture of the figure standing in that you saw first. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And on the left-hand side is the main entrance to the train depot. Now there are windows on that door. So my first thought was somebody walked by the door and cast a shadow. What we tried to recreate that, and we couldn't get that shadow to appear. And there was nobody out there, so we're not sure. And that was probably the third time we've caught shadows in that hallway. So
can you play it again, Peter, one more time? Sorry.
Play it again, Sham.
Play it again.
What's interesting is that the hallway kind of lightens up a little bit. And
yeah, I noticed that. Like it.
Yep.
Like it looks like a car going past, and then you see that.
Yep.
So it lights up again after, like when the shadow walks past, it kind of brightens up again just towards the end.
Right.
See?
So now, again, like I said, there is a window there, and there are streets out there. There are cars that go by, but not like you can see the movement of the light as a car is going by. It's not stationary like that. So
wouldn't you see it across the whole wall though? If it was a car, like wouldn't it go across? Because this is just it's limited to that one area.
It's very stationary, just in that one spot.
So unless there was a window at the end of whatever like if it's coming in from the left side.
Mm-hmm. So
even that wouldn't make any sense though. That wouldn't make any sense. It would have, you know what I mean? But it would be going across the whole wall.
Right.
If it was a car driving by, you would see it start at the beginning and at going towards the end. Right. So,
and when cars are going by, we can hear it pretty well on audio. We didn't pick up anything on audio. You know, it's something we have not been able to explain that shadow as to where it came from, and we haven't been able to recreate it. So,
before we move, I actually want to play. I still have your audio, and I know we've played this on the show a couple of times before. I still have that audio, and every time I hear it, I get the shivers, and I'm just
okay. I think I know which one.
You know which one I'm talking about, right? With the little boy.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites.
Let's quickly set that one up. So you were where?
So that would have been at the University Inn in Gooding, Idaho, which was the Idaho Tuberculosis Hospital in the 1930s. And it's about 11:30 at night when this clip is taken. The building is empty except for my tech, who had gone down to the basement to check a piece of equipment. You hear him walking up the stairs. And he's going to go out to go back outside to join the rest of us. And as he's exiting, you hear this little voice.
Okay, so I'm just going to play it for you guys because this just. Could you guys hear this? Like, could you hear that?
I heard it.
Yeah, I thought like every time I hear it. Like every time it just blows my mind.
So what's fun about that is, that was a great crystal clear Class A EVP. And we caught that same voice, at least we think it's the same voice, a few times during that investigation. We heard him laughing, we heard him babbling. It was pretty interesting. So that's a great clip. So one of our favorites.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's he's saying hi, Dada.
Yeah, bye, Dada. Bye, Dada.
Yeah, bye, Dada.
Yeah. And I will say for the viewers and you, or some of the clips I have tonight are audio. I tried to make sure that you can hear them through computer speakers without headphones. You might have to lean forward, but I do recommend if you have headphones, put them on so you can hear the clips that we're playing nice and clear. So just fair warning.
Okay. So
go ahead, Peter.
Hand the mic over to me. So the next one was a part of an investigation that myself and my team did at Vancouver Paranormal Society probably about 3.5, 4 years ago. It's a famous hotel in BC, famous for being very active as well. It was incredibly memorable for me for different reasons. Pretty much every part of the building had a different characteristic and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, it's one of the most active buildings I've ever been on in the past 26, 27 years in relation to the amount of personal experiences that both myself and my team had, and all together as well. Like there was just so much went on. This particular part of the hotel was handed over probably about 10, 15 years ago. It's the top half of the hotel, and it was never used as a part of the hotel, and it was always a kind of a dumping area. And they allegedly, when the hotel was built, they used it as a holding area, not a holding area, that's the wrong word, but a sleeping area for like the Chinese railway workers and stuff like that. So it's very, like, for BC, it's very old, so it holds a lot of historical value on that. And this particular time, I'll bring up the first shot. So this is the upstairs landing, and the same kind of mechanisms what I used on that other at the school was that going through the railings at that far room on the right hand side, there was a laser and receiver. So where you see that sink on the left, the receiver was just probably about 3 or 4 feet away from that, and it actually went through that the banisters and into the room. The reason being is that allegedly the housekeepers downstairs were hearing footsteps upstairs, that kind of thing. So I just set it up upstairs, and we did the whole investigation in the other parts of the building. We never even touched the upstairs. This go around, this was actually our first investigation there. So at some point between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, the camera went off, and let me just find the other picture. And if you pay attention to the doorway on your right hand side, it picked up this image.
Oh, whoa.
So
wow,
that image did not become apparent until about 3 months after the investigation. I didn't even see it when I was going through my photos, because sometimes you just clicking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see it, and it was only when I went through it a second time it actually popped up. Characteristics of that particular figure is that he's obviously wearing a uniform, and it dates back to the late 18th century, and I can't go too much detail of the actual hotel itself and the history, but it does fall into place of the image, and this is a blown up image of it as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could, that's awesome. I mean, that's, when I talk to people about apparitions that I've seen, I mean, that's what I've seen. I mean, that's it right there. So that's great. I mean, you can definitely tell the period clothing. Looks like he's wearing a hat.
Yeah, it is. What's odd about it is the way that the head almost looks like there's two heads there.
It does. It looks like there's one that's looking over his shoulder towards us, huh?
It's really weird the way it's kind of like you can see his shoulders, and you can see the head and the back of the head and the hat on top, and it's just the way that camera displaces the side of his head, and it just shows that there's, I don't know, it's almost as if that there's like two heads there. I'm not saying, but
it really does.
But what's interesting about this is, and I am absolutely gutted I didn't bring this up, but we've got there was actually another picture captured on the floor, 2 floors below, where you get the front of the image, where you see the guy's shoes coming through the door, and it's exactly the same, like with the trousers and stuff like that. I'll actually try and find it now, Cathy, if you want to take it on, and we can finish the show with that. But that to me, that's probably the most compelling picture I've ever captured.
I agree. That's probably one of the best ones I've seen.
And it does fall into the history of the actual hotel as well, which a lot of it was jagged, and there was lots of stories about what the history was and stuff like that. It was only when we got in touch with a local historian that opened up some like true facts about what the building was used for and stuff like that. People weren't killed there. It wasn't like a kind of that image you get where it's passed down from generation.
It's a relatively small person. Like I'm looking, standing in that doorway, and that's not much more than that. Maybe he's pushing 5 feet tall. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the door frame, and you look at where that hinge is at the top.
Yeah.
An average door is what,
6.5 feet, 7 feet, maybe.
Yeah. 6'6".
Looking at mine, yeah, probably 7 feet. Yeah, we got 8
so
foot.
then you bring it down to where the hinge is, and I'm 5'10", and my head can stand almost parallel to where that hinge is. Yeah. So that guy there is probably about 5 foot.
But here's the thing: this is like what century is this, or what would have been the era of it?
It would have been mid to late 18th century, and it's one of the I'm trying to be particular with the words, but it was one of the buildings that was used originally to house the Chinese railway workers when they built the Great Canadian Railway through one part of
Right.
Canada to the other.
And also too, there was a lot of child labor at that time, but also with Asian labor, all of that. I mean, that definitely fits with that height.
For sure.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, and one of the viewers talked about the color of the clothing as well, and yeah, that definitely sits. I mean, very very earth tones, basic, gray, black, for sure. Yeah, that's a great pick. I love that.
Yeah. I'll try and find the other one, Kathy, if you want to grab the mic.
Sure. Okay. So Trevor, I have a couple of sounds here that we're going to play. I don't know if are they both from the same place?
What are they? What are the titles?
So one says Soundwave DR0000.
You'll have to play. I can't remember which one that is. Usually they're labeled with something.
It is probably going to loop as well. So we'll, yeah. Hang on a second.
This one's a little bit tougher to hear, so you're going to have to kind of lean forward or put some headphones on. This was taken at the tuberculosis hospital. And I think it might have been the same investigation as the Bidata. This one takes actually a place upstairs from the Bidata. And one of our investigators was having activity in their room. And so a group of them went up there to investigate. And as I understand it, that was all females up there. And she asks, is there anybody here with us? And you hear a reply in a male voice.
I'm going to play it again. So it's playing a couple of times. Hang on, is it playing? Is there anyone up here with us
tonight? I heard a Windows thing.
Yeah, sorry, that's me.
It'll play again. Hang on.
Is there anyone up here with us tonight?
So right after she asks it, give it about a second to a second and a half, and you hear the reply.
I can't hear what the reply is, but I hear the voice, but I can't. I think it's just the volume. But
they say yes. So it's a male voice that says yes.
Yeah, see, I can hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it's cool. I like this one because it gives that sense of an intelligent haunt,
Yeah.
Somebody that we can interact with or that we can talk to and that might be willing to talk back. And that's one of the reasons why we love that place so much, is that we've had several responses to questions and interactions. And, and I think that's why we've been so successful in catching evidence out there.
Was there any, and this wasn't audible until it got to the recorder. Is that right?
Correct. This was not a disembodied voice. This was, it was just like the Bidata, as loud as that was on the recorder.
Yeah.
Our investigator didn't hear that when he was leaving.
Wow.
So.
And did it respond to anything else, or was it just that?
I think that was the only EVP we caught up there at that moment. So,
Right.
But they were having stuff happening in the room. I can't remember if something got moved or what, but they all rushed up there to take a look.
So. Yeah, take a look. So I'm going to play the second one too. I'm not sure. I'll let you tell the story of it. But hang on, I'll play it. Can you hear what that is?
I think, is that the Get Out one?
I think it's the Get Out one. Yeah.
So and I apologize, everybody. When I was listening to this on my computer earlier, the volume must be louder on it.
I wonder if I can play it off the phone. You keep talking, and I'm just going to check something out. Okay.
It's the Get Out one. You hear this, one of my investigators talking, and it's kind of this low, growling voice that just says "get out." You know, it's just kind of menacing. I believe that was taken in a residence. They were having issues with stuff happening in the baby's room. They were concerned, and we had a recorder in there. And we actually caught a few hits in there, a lot of whispers, but this low growl was pretty interesting.
Why does it always get out? Like, well, can I not be a bit more imaginative in relation to what they say? It's just get out.
I don't know. Well, I guess it was. Yeah, I don't know. Man, a few words, I suppose. So.
Bugger off! Come on. Yeah, a bit more. Add a British tone. Bugger off! Get out! Go on. Shoo.
That's funny.
Okay.
People, I don't know. So
I found the pictures. So
okay, I just want to see if I can just give me 1 second here. You know how this is with freaking Google. Verify this bullshit. Verify that. It's like, okay, yes, it's me. Let me into my bloody account. I'm having Google issues today, apparently. All right, hang on. Okay. All right, here we go. So let me just see if I can. I'll try and play that first one first. Hang on. Okay, hang on. All right, here we go. Shut me off. Okay.
Oh, that's a completely different one. That's the foreign one. Okay, so
I'll try one.
So this one, okay, so that one actually is kind of interesting, and there's a lot going on. And you kind of have to pay attention because you're going to hear the REM pod go off. You hear a couple people talking, and there's a female that comes across the top of everybody at almost exactly 5 seconds into this clip that is speaking in a completely different language. And we've caught a few voices, and this is at the tuberculosis hospital again. We actually have caught full conversations in this other language. The lady that runs the hotel there now, she is a Russian immigrant, and we ran it by her to see if she could pick it up because it almost sounds like it could be Russian or something of that dialect or that area. And she thought it might be Slavic. But we've never been able to quite figure it out. So about 5 seconds in, you'll hear some talking, but there's a woman that she comes across the top of everybody, and we have no idea what she says, but we've caught that same woman's voice a few different times.
Okay, I'll try it again, see what happens here.
You kind of hear her. It's kind of a higher pitch.
You can hear her for sure.
Yeah, like she was trying to like join in or tell us something at the same. I don't know. But it caught us by surprise. I think I was the one that found that clip when I was reviewing it, and I was like, "What the heck?" Listened to it a dozen times and tried to understand what she was saying, but it was definitely not one of my investigators.
Hope not. Anyway,
let me just see here. This one here.
They were speaking in tongues. If it was,
I know.
Speaking in tongues. Hang on. Let me just. I can't hear that one at all, actually. So I'm just gonna, I tried.
I'll move on.
Yeah. Move on to the next.
Okay, so I've uploaded the picture that was taken on a camera phone from the lower floor. So I'll bring up the last image to give you a kind of a familiarization of the image. Now, this was taken below when one of my investigators was doing a walk through the building. And she was just taking random pictures of different parts of the building, as you do. She captured this one. So if you look under the candle, you see.
Oh yeah, I see.
Guy, there's someone standing in the doorway. Now it resembles the same guy there.
Very similar.
In relation to the suit, the color of the suit, the trousers, to there. Now I zoomed in a bit. Oh, no, that was a zoomed in one of that, but. Yeah, so if you can see the shoes coming out the doorway, and then you can actually see his hand as well.
Yeah,
and cuffs on the blazer as well, on his shirt as well. So that to us was that was full rounded. That was
that's like something a doorman or a busboy or a hotel,
Bellboy.
the bellboy. Yeah, the bellboy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to decide if that is, a white cuff or if those are like some sort of Class A military stripes on a sleeve.
I think like if you look below that, that's his hand.
Right.
And so
So,
whatever
yeah, and the fire department, we have Class A uniforms, and they're somewhat militaristic. And on the sleeves down here, right by the cuff, you'll get stripes that that you wear, and that's what I was trying to figure out if that's potentially what it could be, or if that's like you said. I mean, it could just be a white cuff of like a bellhop uniform or something like that. Either way, that's an amazing picture.
it would definitely, yeah, Porter, yeah. And again, it's been selective for my words. It would probably be more fitting that it wouldn't be a porter. It would be more kind of a military uniform than a porter because of what went on there, like the kind of guided history. It is a big hotel, but they wouldn't at that time have provisions for pools and stuff like that with the nature of the hotel. And I'm being very selective again with my words.
Yeah, that's
so it's not the type of hotel that would have a porter to it.
It wouldn't during that era, and it wouldn't been at recent times anyway. And it only probably over the last maybe 3 decades, it would have had been at that kind of level where there would have been someone carrying, luggage around and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's that I think that concludes this week, doesn't it? We're almost at the hour point.
I think so.
Done already?
That's some great evidence, guys. Like, that's amazing.
Do you have time for one more?
Yeah.
You have the one that says shadow on it?
Okay. I'm just
Sure.
gonna. It's
a movie. It's a video clip, and it's only about 1 second long, so you're going to want to replay it. So this was taken at a private residence. It was originally like a 1-room log cabin that was housing Confederate soldiers in Idaho, which kind of surprised me. I didn't know there were Confederate soldiers in Idaho, but they eventually this place went through a bunch of changes. The family was having all sorts of activity. Some of it was getting pretty physical. And we investigated there a couple of different nights. And one of the nights you'll see in this footage, this is taken in their living room. You can see 2 of my investigators sitting on a couch. You're going to want to kind of focus your attention on the wall behind them.
Do you have it, Peter?
This one?
Should say shadow. Which one?
Can you share it with us, Trevor, like you did last time? Because I don't think I uploaded that one.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't have my files up at the moment. Downloads. Light. It should be right here. Okay, I've got it here. Hold on just a second. Share video file. I'm learning. This is great. Oh shoot, this isn't the same thing.
No rush.
Right.
Let's see. Hello. I don't know if I can. I got the light. Hang on. Let me see if I can share my screen, and then I can bring it up. All right, can you see me? Is it working yet?
Not yet. I still see you. Press share.
It's apparently not going to let me. All it gives me is the ability to.
Oops, that's not it. That's me.
No, that's the wrong one. That one's light. There's another one's shadow.
I'm trying to find it, and I thought I had it uploaded in here, and for whatever reason,
I don't know why it won't let me go to the download section. Hold on here.
Do you see it in Peter? Like if you go into the drive, can you see it and bring it down?
No, I don't see it at all.
You see, that is so weird. I wonder why it won't let me, because I can bring it up on this. Hang on, I'm trying to see if I can. It's weird because it doesn't show up in my downloaded section.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm looking at I'm looking at the ones that you had sent me, and it's not in there, unfortunately.
No, I just went through it, and there's nothing in there. Okay, well,
so that's a bummer.
Next time we will bring it on.
Yeah,
Oh, hold on. Does this work?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
hang on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
hang on.
Okay.
Perfect.
So you're going to pay attention to that back wall. Oh, shoot. Did you see it? It's super quick. You got to be paying attention. So you're going to look right over here.
Oh yeah,
geez.
I see that. The hell is that?
I'm just going to keep clicking play.
Can you guys see this? You can see it.
I saw it the first time, but I don't see it anymore. Oh,
So
yeah.
where was this again?
So this was at an old historic, it's now a house. It was originally a log cabin that was housing Confederate soldiers. It went through a variety of changes from the early 1800s, from being a cabin to being, I think it was like a tavern bar, became a brothel at one point, and then like a hair salon, and now it's a home.
Right.
But the claims ranged from people being physically pushed to seeing apparitions. One of the claims was they thought that there was a doppelganger of one of the children in the house, things like that. So it was pretty interesting. But this thing lasts like it doesn't even last a whole frame of video. It moves so quick. So it was like kudos to the investigator that was watching the video that caught it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody there can see it or not, but I mean, it's we haven't been able to decide if this thing is running up the wall or if it's between the camera and the wall somewhere, but it moves straight up super fast.
Yeah.
Is Peter, could he freeze frame that and just take an image? Because I got a split second of it where it's quite a big black area.
Yeah, we actually have stills for each piece of that going out. And it only lasts like, I think, what is it? If it's frames, I guess 6 frames. It goes
6 frames.
fast. I do have stills that I can send you later. I got to go find them. But I wish there was a way I could just put this on a loop. So
You can.
But we tried to rule a bunch of stuff out again. We tried to recreate it, and we had no way of doing that. All the shadows in the house with the traffic going by went left to right. Nothing was going up, and certainly not at that speed. But we thought that was a pretty interesting. I've never seen a shadow move like that.
That's awesome.
So right near the door there, is that what is right beside the door? Like it almost looks like a person or something.
You're looking over here, right here.
The other way? No, the other way. Other way. Right there. Oh, you missed it. Go back.
Right here?
Right there. Yeah.
That's my investigator, Katie.
Okay. I was like, okay.
My investigator, Kelly. I'm pretty sure. So,
did she feel or see anything happen at that time?
There was no reports of anything. No. And if you listen to the audio right there too, it's also very interesting because you hear a sound that seems to correlate with that shadow moving. It's almost kind of like a whoosh sound, which I thought was pretty interesting too.
Crazy. Yeah.
Now, these videos you can see on our website. All this stuff, the stuff you couldn't hear, you can go to our website, www.widpara.com. It's all posted there for you guys to check out. And, I won't tell you anything that we caught is a ghost. You can just kind of listen and see it and decide for yourself. So,
Here's our
hi, Kelly.
photographer herself. Hello, or the one that captured it. Yeah, no feelings felt by either me or Katie during the show. That's crazy. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
Thank you
concludes
so much,
another
guys.
episode of the show.
Yeah.
Let us know your comments.
What did I do?
Like whether you like this rhythm, whether you like this type of show or not. And if you do, we can definitely carry it on. Like I say, we're just playing around for ideas at the moment, see what you guys are actually bites for you guys at the moment. So please join us next week for another show when we will be back. I think we'll probably try another theme like this next week. Kathy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we might actually have a guest. I have to double check, but if it's not this week, it'll be the week after that we're doing another one like this, I believe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I would have to look at our schedule, but I do. The next week is the 8th, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't even know what the date is today, quite honestly.
No, I don't either. Well, okay,
No,
well,
I think next week we do have a guest.
It's later than the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 11th.
11th. Yeah, I do think that we do have a guest that week. So, but if not next week, it will be probably the week after that we'll be doing another video show of some sort, I think. So,
yes.
Thank you
You guys for tuning in, and we'll be back next week regardlessly. Have a great week. Thank you, guys.
Take care,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
See you next time.